Hello, buddy. Welcome back. I'm the Strategy Professor. Just doing a coaching session here.
Fun.
It is fun.
Real quick.
I like to hear.
So we're looking at Sona support.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift. Seconds until
I don't know, John. Like, we're debating in chat kind of jungle. This patch 10.2 before 10.3. I don't think junglers are below supports right now in experience. Not in my games. It's possible in pro, maybe. I haven't watched every pro game. But in solo queue, I don't think junglers are below supports in terms of, like, levels most of the time. I think solo laners are too, like, I think they get too much experience. They buffed solo lane experience at the start of the preseason, if you remember. And they nerfed bot lane experience and jungle experience. Because, you know, mid lane just wasn't influential enough last season or any season. Mid lane's, like, always the most influential. It feels like. Okay. Now, I will say... oh, by the way, let me get this... Oh. Yeah, you gotta be careful walking into that push if you don't ward early on. We can talk about... Oh, Leona might die here? I don't know. Their ADC might show up. Okay, nice. Well, it worked out. But yeah, in general, you either need to stand in this boat, like... Just when you're clearing this, just walk this way. Just like walk south and come out this way. Because it's not really that much slower. Just ping it so your ADC does it too. It's not really that much slower. It's like maybe 1 second slower. You'll still get to the camps on time, but then you don't even have to risk it. And I would try to get a ward down early somewhere. Like, even if it's just like Pixel Brush in the river. I try to ward their Raptor camp, especially with that Sona buff or movement speed. See if you can get up here and ward this Raptor camp around like 1 minute, and then just like use your E to zip back down this way and meet your allies at red. Almost nobody protects enemy Raptors, and that can give your team a lot of really good insight. But yeah, so my spiel as far as coaching, sorry I was talking in the stream there. I do stream every night, starting usually around 10 p.m. Occasionally it's 11 if I'm running a little late. I do teach at a major American university, and I'm, you know, some family obligations and things like that too. So sometimes I'm running a little late, but usually it's around 10 to 11 every night on YouTube. And we usually go till about 2 or 3 a.m. And if you'd like a coaching session, it's just $25 on stream. Let's do it live. You can ask me questions. You can get some feedback from the chat. If you're a non-channel member, and then if you are a channel member, then it's $20. Channel member is just $5 a month, so it's basically free to be a member for a month if you want to get a coaching session anyway. And with the membership, you can come play with us on Sundays. I play with viewers. And you get a discount on all coaching and all guides that you want to commission as well, that $5 discount. Okay, so let's see here. I'm not a huge fan of cleanse. Like, right there, you gotta cleanse that. Like, if you're gonna take cleanse, you gotta use it when Leona engages on you. Like, you wait till she E's, and then once she Qs you for that stun, then you have to cleanse and run. You would, yeah, I mean, you would have to take E level 1. You could probably do it even without taking E. You could probably still get back in time. I think it's worth for the vision, though. I mean, you're not doing anything that great level 1 anyways. I think you should get some wards down. Because everybody congregates on the bot side. Like, nobody guards top. So a lot of times, I'll try to get it on the Raptors. If I'm on blue side. If I'm on red side, I'll try to get it on, like, their blue buff. But yeah, in general, I'm not a huge fan of cleanse just because it just doesn't do anything for ADC. It doesn't heal you. You can cleanse the ignite off. I'm sure you probably know that, but if you don't, you can cleanse the dot off of ignite, which is nice, but I just think it's just too situational, and just kind of like what happened there. Sometimes you may not use it correctly, or like Leona has so many different pieces of CC, it doesn't fully prevent the application of future CC. It reduces it, but doesn't fully prevent it. So if she's onto you, Q's, auto attacks you, and then ults you, and you cleanse, you know, her Q, the ult's still gonna hit you and CC you for like half a second. So it's just with champions with that many like pieces of CC, I would not do it. I would do barrier a lot more than that. It's still gonna protect you from a lot of damage in different situations.
Let's try a real target.
If you want something that's actually gonna provide more protection. Hey, thanks, Former. I appreciate it. Yeah, I used to not like the Bretonia campaign that much, for being honest, but I like a lot of the changes. I think after playing through it, like, it is actually the campaign management, especially in the mid to late game, is kind of overpowered, but it's overpowered in a fun way. In kind of a refreshing way, because Bretonia has been, I think, a very weak faction for a long time, so it's cool to have them change it up. Hey, what's up, Jerry? Thanks for the sub. So I was surprised with how much fun I had with that campaign. But yeah, it was actually a really fun one with the changes that SFO did. They made the cavalry feel different and like actually powerful. Usually I hate cavalry. It's so dependent on charge bonus and terrible on sieges and super weak to halberds and all that. But they actually made some of the cavalry that can stand and fight in combat and things like that. So anyways, I like the changes they did. Okay. Ocean's got a BF sword, so this matchup's really, really hard. So I'm sure you're aware of that, but yeah, like. I'm gonna try to hit him with the E shot. You just used your thing, but if you could have saved it for the E and used that slow, I don't know what he was doing. But if you could have used like the slow there, it worked out. But knowing that a gank's coming in, just holding onto your power cord and then using that slow once the gank's about to come in. Yeah, I don't usually like Cav either, but I like monstrous Cav, like low entity count, high HP, resilient Cav, and that's sort of what they've turned their Grail Guardians into. I think specifically Faye Enchantress seems really strong with a lot of the changes to her. Alright, so you know Twitch is looking like they just cleared these bot side wards. If they clear a ward, it means they're usually like, you know, looking to gank. Not always, but. Yeah, I would ping him off of that. Yeah, they've got it warded. They know for sure. No, just. Yeah, hopefully he runs. What do we got? Double Amp Tome. Ooh. That's ambitious. I would have probably just gone for the Fiendish Codex. Get that Athene's rolling in faster. I think you really want completed items on Sona ASAP. And she's so strong with almost everything, but like particularly Athene's and Ardent Sensor. So I would try to get those two in case that. And auto attack. Auto, go in, auto. Oh, you gotta stick in there in auto. I know it's like spooky, but they just blew all their cooldowns trying to kill your ADC. And Sona actually, like, your auto attacks and your Qs and stuff, it adds up. Like, she puts out pretty good damage. Like, more than people would think. So yeah, especially when you're like right here in the safe position, just like keep auto attacking, like spamming your abilities basically. whenever they're off cooldown. Hey, what's up, Leah? I mean, with like perfect Sona play, you're gonna try to hit your green power chords in fights because it does reduce the damage of the person that you hit by like at least 25% scaling with AP. But really, I mean, at a bare minimum, you just want to be auto attacking and just like using your abilities to get as many power chords as you can. I don't like Ludens or Tyr. I mean, they're okay. They're so expensive. I would say check out my like 12 most misunderstood items video that I did last year, where I kind of explained the cost efficiency of several items. Athenes and Ardent Censer on that list, but they're just so much more cost efficient. They're hundreds and hundreds of gold in cost efficiency versus Ludens is, you know, about 100%. So like, it's a nice item, it does a lot of damage, but like you could have basically an Athenes plus almost halfway to Ardent Censer by the time you get Ludens. So you could have an item and a half. Which I assume you're getting Ludens. If you were going Seraphs, I assume you would have gotten Tyr first. Which the Tyr build is like a little more interesting because she does leverage mana so well. You know, she can just spam so well. But I still don't like the Tyr build on her. I think there are just so many Fairy Charm items that you get if you build Athenes into Ardent Censer that usually your mana is not as much of a problem because you have to back every 2 minutes to get wards anyways, so let's say it's not like it's terrible. You can definitely win games. I mean, we just lost to an extremely good, like a Kerchai Shard Rush Sona. It's because like her baseline abilities are so oppressive if you don't hard engage on her, but
Money in my pocket.
I don't remember the exact wave that John's talking about, but in general on roams, I call this like being offsides on my stream a lot, and people ask, but I haven't heard other commentators use that, but it kind of makes sense to me. Like, you don't want to beat past your minion wave very often in most situations because you're going to lose map pressure and you're going to lose experience a lot of times in gold. So like, if your minions are pushed up here, for example, you wouldn't want to come over here and try to ward this. So just thinking of like your minions as kind of a line of scrimmage, and you don't want to be past this. There are some cases that are exceptions, obviously, where you just need to run to a fight immediately. It's like happening in your jungle or something, but in general, you want to try to push up before you roam. But yeah, I don't remember the specific play chat's talking about. Yeah, Vegan says Tyr's weaker. It is. It costs 50 more gold. It's one of the big things. It actually costs 100 more gold. I think it used to be 750 back in the Tyr heyday. And they changed the way that it stacks, so you don't get as much. I forgot exactly how mathematically it worked out, but basically, like, you don't get as much value out of it until you back. So you don't get as much stacking in lane. I think it's still good on champs that, like, really like Tyr, but with Sona, that's always been a great debate. Just because she gets so many other mana items and Tyr literally doesn't, it just gives you mana, that's it. And those other items are building towards something more substantial. Wait, are you building Archangels? You are building Archangels. Well, if you are gonna build Archangels, I would start with Tyr. If you have to have that item, if you just really love it, you want Tyr early so you can start stacking it with. Yeah, in general, like, on most enchanters, most of the time, you want to stick with those items that are between, like, 2,000 and 2,300 gold because you get so much extra value out of those items. Because, like, if you buy something that's a Ludens that's 100% value, you're just getting the value out of it, right? Like, that's it. You're getting what you paid for. But if you buy, like, an Athenes for 2100 and you're getting 200% efficiency out of it, then it's almost like you're getting 7 free kills because you're generating an extra 2100 gold for your team off of the efficiency of your item. So sometimes you have to do stuff that's inefficient. You know, sometimes you might have to buy a Quicksilver Sash or something, but you had ult there, right? Yeah, I would have ulted that. As soon as, let's go back for a second. As soon as Yi commits to that, I would have just ulted. Whoever Yi's on, you don't have to get the Grand Slam, like, 5-person ult. If you're getting a kill with your ult, that's fine. I think you can let Leona go, probably. You could ult and kill her right there. But as soon as Yi commits that Veigar ult, right there, boom, ult. Y'all did get everybody, but it took a lot longer than it needed to. Actually, no, the Veigar got out. The problem with Mikhail's and Veigar, like, that I found, because, you know, I think it can be a really good item, but the thing is your teammates won't run into the wall, even if you have Mikhail's most of the time. Even if you ping it, they just don't want to touch the wall. And if they don't touch the wall, then you can't cleanse them out of it. Because it's not a preemptive cleanse. It's not like a Morgana Black Shield. So if they don't run into the wall, then your Mikhail's doesn't do anything. So I'm kind of on the fence how I feel about Mikhail's and Veigar. And you can't obviously do it to yourself. You did try to cleanse the Veigar there, but you still died. This is where, like, I think Barrier might be a little more useful. So I do like Mikhail's on some champs, but it depends on what you're giving up. And the fact that Sona's so good, you know, with Ardent Center and Athene's, I don't know if it's worth giving it up. On Soraka, yeah, I go ahead and get Mikhail's, but... Have ult this time, yeah, that's a pretty brutal fight. Yeah, y'all probably don't want to take that. I mean, you have no vision of the area. You don't have your ult. Well, y'all do have Vlad dead. I mean, it is a 4v5, but you don't have Talia. She doesn't have her ult. They've already got the dragon, so you don't have to fight this. Yeah, without your ult and without Talia's ult, it probably is too dangerous.
Killing spree. Blue team's turret.
Hey, what's up, Dedicate? You're not invisible, man. I'm just... At least to me, you're not. I mean, I've never seen Archangels be, like, super common. I mean, we just talked about tier. Like, they did nerf tier, like, a couple of years ago. But it's never been, like, that great on supports. Too expensive. People still get it in other roles. You get it on Cassiopeia, you get it on Rise. I don't remember what else he said. Yeah, I mean, they nerfed the tier component years ago. And they buffed Athene's. Season 8. See, like, you still don't have any items completed. That's the thing, is like... The Leona already has a Zeke's, and she has a Thorn Mail. Or not a Thorn Mail, but a little Bramble Vest, which it's not a great item to get on support. But, like, she's just got more stuff. Especially that she has that Zeke's completed. Like, item completions are so huge because the passives and the actives are so valuable. You just want those items done. You know? And Sona does scale, but she has such a good mid-game team fight, too, with her ult. So you kind of lose out on a lot of your potential there if you don't have at least one completed support item. Yeah, if you don't have at least one completed support item, then you're just not going to be as strong for these mid-game team fights. Yeah, I think Archangels used to be something, wasn't it like 2,700 gold or something at one point? That was many years ago. 2,700 is like, that's a zone, like the 25 to 2,700 is a zone that's like, you can get a support. It's a little, be a little tricky, you know, something like Frozen Heart or on a tank or Gargoyle Stoneplate. A lot of that's just because Locket just feels terrible most of the time. It doesn't have CDR on it, but. I don't. I don't know. I mean, being the last item you were. I mean, yeah, like. It just depends. If people are talking like 6th item, like, yeah, I mean, if you have infinite gold, it's a great item. But as far as like tempo and what you should be building, you just don't see it all. It's just too expensive. Yeah, I mean, if it's like a 40-minute game and you're sitting on like 5K, sure, you know, get Archangel, get Deathcap. But in a lot of games shouldn't be going that long. If you're consistently getting games that are going that long, you need to try to like sharpen up your macro a little bit and close out games faster. Because the longer games go, like, the less control you have over it all the time. Just random stuff to throw games. Random teammate just makes a stupid engage and you lose, you know? So you want to try to close out as early as you can while you still have a lot of control. Or more control than you would later. Okay, that was good. Speaking of macro, y'all probably can't do Baron. He's really far. How does he not have more than that? He's just not farming, I guess. Whoa, what happened there? Because he has 7 kills, but he doesn't even have 2 items yet. Okay, yeah, you gotta be real careful because it's very, yeah, you see that ward, like you gotta stop. As soon as you see a ward come over that wall, you turn around and go the other way. Because, like, you know Leona and Lucian are... Someone's there. And Leona and Lucian were, like, in this area. But I was gonna say, like, even if you don't, like, see them ward that, that's a super common place for, like, an engaged support like the Leona to ward. Because they know a lot of times there's a lot of foot traffic coming through there, so... I would say if you don't have a control ward or you don't sweep, you gotta walk around a different way as someone like a Sona, because you're just a sitting duck. Speaking of which, you gotta try to get more wards down too. It is a little harder as Sona because you can get engaged on and killed, like Twitch can be invisible, Leona can come at you out of the bush and kill you. But you gotta try to get some more wards down. Somewhere. Even if it's just like defensive ward, like here and here. I know they don't just magically appear, but you gotta try to find some place to get some wards down. And like you should always have a control ward on the map. I'm not sure if this one's yours or not. I didn't look at that, but okay, right here. I wouldn't. Well, you do see Leona. You do have Talia is kind of. Whoa, they're. Okay, you gotta leave. You gotta leave. If they cage you, you're dead. Yeah, that's good. Just kind of see if you can ward over this right here. Ooh, I don't know about just walking up. I mean, it worked out, but the problem with you just ulting Veigar there is no one's there to follow up hardly. So I would have saved it to your team game. Like if you can just run around in circles like you were doing, sort of, and they stop DPSing Baron, like that's good enough. Just wait till the rest of your team shows up. Yeah, I would not have ulted there. I think it was okay to just kind of like dance in and out of Vagar's cage range with your E because you're so fast. Like you can probably get away with that, but if you were gonna walk up to something, I would try to just put a ward in the pit and then run away. Huh. I mean, he just... I don't see the Master Yi doing something that's like astoundingly worse than most of the other people in the game. It seems like he's just not very good at assessing risk. I don't know. I mean, yeah, he's making some goofy decisions. But... Okay, the cleanse was good right there. I still think it should be barrier or probably barrier on Sona. You can take ignite or exhaust, but yeah, you need a control word. Like, you gotta have better vision. Like, if you just lock out vision around Baron, that in and of itself is enough to win games a lot of times. Because they'll have to come face check and you can engage on them. Y'all just need to run. Riven's dead. So no, y'all don't want this. It's a 4v5. Maybe, like, if you get some miracle, but... Yeah, you gotta have more control ward. Like, you gotta control ward that bush and block that vision out. Because if they have vision there, they're gonna be a lot more confident with their engage. You need to take it as a personal affront if they have vision of you. You need to take offense. You need to say, I'm pissed. I'm triggered that they are watching me right now. If they have wards, like, you need to hunt those wards down and murder every ward. You think of it like there's some stalker peeping here. So it looks like you're going Ardent now. If you like being watched, that's okay. Just, that analogy doesn't work then. I mean, I get if you're like... You could strategically let them have some vision. Like, that can work. That's, like, really advanced. In general, you just want to lock it all out. Like, you could let them have a ward in a place and let them think they're safe and then path around a different way so they get a false sense of security. If you know, like, exactly where their wards are and you're trying to, like, you want to exploit a blind spot they have, you could do that, but in general, I would just lock out. I know, it's you just joking. Was that with Jim Carrey? I can't remember watching all that. See how scary this is? You gotta be real careful because if you can't walk into that. Like, that's so spooky. But you don't have any tanks on your team, so. Like, just walking up to that, like, they could have just been sitting in this bush and killed you guys. Fortunately, they just took the Baron. I know that sounds like weird to say that, but they could have probably picked up 2 or 3 kills and the Baron. Or just outright won the game if you face check a bush like that. Especially 2 of you, like Sona and Misfortune standing right next to each other, face checking a bush, like. Finish watching the shiny. Hey, what's up, Reginald Black? I would say, like, a good rule of thumb, this is not always perfect, but a good place to start thinking about warding is you want to average 1 ward per minute, 1 normal ward per minute, and you want to try to average 1 control ward every 5 minutes. So, 25-minute game, 5 control wards. Now, obviously, if it's a really short game, like a 15-minute game, you may not have 3 by then. You might. And then as the game goes on, in a 40-minute game, you should probably have more than 8. But it's the good place to start is to think of 1 control ward per 5. I feel like this game's almost done. I don't want to spoil it for people that actually are like, you know, with the drama of it, but. You won't have enough vision to get all of the map, Reginald, so you gotta pick. You want to put it where your next objective is, like whatever's really important. Whether it's setting up for Baron, setting up for Dragon, trying to protect a split pusher, trying to protect a mid laner. I don't think rabid fan bases are terrible. I don't want to get into too much of a random debate in the chat, but I think people being passionate about stuff is not bad, as long as they're not like excessively rude. I don't know. I mean, yeah, I don't care about like college sports that much, but I don't, you know, it's fun. If people really get into it, if it gives their life some meaning, some purpose, if they get excited every Saturday and that's what gets them through the week, I mean, I'm okay with anything, just about, as long as they're not like, you know, hurting other people or making other people feel, like I said, really bad. Like, I'm sure there are toxic fans that are just like, you know, really mean and insulting to like visiting teams and stuff like that. But in general, I just think being, you know, passionate about something is fine. Yeah, I guess you kind of had to ult to get the Twitch off you, but like you all need to be like probably grouped up a little bit more. Another reason for Ardent Censor like a lot earlier is like Master Yi. It's not just your own ADC, it's that you have like a Yi on your team. Maybe sports make people more aggressive. I don't know. I mean, there could be something to that, but I don't know. I mean, like I said, I'm not really like super steeped in that culture, but you know, in the town where I live, it is a big, does have a big college football team. And like most people, you know, they'll, you know, talk some trash about other teams and just kind of be polite, but I don't know. I mean, if people get drunk at the stadium or something, and I'm sure there are people that go overboard, but in general, most people are pretty, like, reasonably well-mannered. But that's just kind of the South in general. A lot of people, even if someone disagrees with you, even if they hate you, a lot of times they will, you know, be somewhat cordial to you. Maybe not, obviously not like in certain cases, but people tend to not go out of their way to stir up controversy and stuff. We are coaching the Sona, yes. Yeah, I've been caught a few too many times there, I think. Just try to stick with the team a little bit more. Yeah, I mean, so I think the vision is a huge story here. Like, they're getting a lot of objectives, and you guys aren't able to get picks. And when you're this far behind, when they like have the soul and they're up like 10 kills, especially against something like Twitch. Twitch is really obnoxious, but like you just can't ever be anywhere by yourself. And you really need to try to like get eyes on Twitch. Like, he can go invisible, but if you have, you know, if you have wards around, you can kind of oftentimes spot him out. The Lucian DC, that's unfortunate that y'all just kind of got closed out, but... yeah. It's not really worth it to try to go up by yourself to get it. I mean, I see what you're saying, like, to try to get a tower to help you out there, but, no, yeah, I mean, that's definitely a thing, though, and there is a lot of, I don't know. That's complicated. I'll tackle that here in a second. Okay, Alright, so anyways, I think the biggest stuff to work on here is itemization. Just try out getting Athene's early and then Ardent Censer in a lot of games. I think that'll help out a lot. You'll still get a lot of mana out of Athene's, and Frostfang got its mana back now too, so that'll still give you a total of 150% mana. It's super efficient. It just helps you out a ton. And I think as long as you're not just like literally just rolling your hand across the keyboard constantly, I don't think you'll have mana problems once you get that item completed. Early game, her mana is really tough because her base mana on her heal is like 80, but it only goes up by 5 per level. So, you know, by the time you get to the mid game, it's really not that bad. You know, you might even consider taking like Presence of Mind and then the Tenacity rune second. Is probably pretty popular right now. I also like Ulti Hunter and Ghost Poro, but if you do find yourself having mana problems, taking Presence of Mind plus something, either Coup de Grace or the Tenacity rune can be pretty good. We talked about Summoners. I think Barrier's really good. Or maybe Exhaust. I like Barrier more than Exhaust. Exhaust does protect your ADC a bit more, but Barrier protects you personally a lot more, especially against ranged threats like Veigar and Twitch. I guess Mercury Treads are fine against Leona. That's fine. What else? There's a lot more vision in general. Just start off by just saying, you know what? I'm always going to have 3 wards on the map. Just start there. 3 normal wards, 1 control ward on the map at all times. So that's the biggest thing, is just get the wards on the map. Even if they're in inefficient spots, just get them down. I do have lots of warding guides on the channel, so check that out. I might do another one here pretty soon, maybe this weekend. An updated, like, vision guide. But the main thing is just try to get vision around, like, the most important thing on the map that your team wants to contest. So whether that's Baron, Dragon, protecting a split pusher, protecting yourself in your own jungle, if they're ahead of you. But a lot of it starts with vision, especially when you're behind, because if you can lock them out of vision and you get good vision of them, you can get the jump on them out of bushes. I mean, that's kind of like, it's a very basic thing you can do with vision, but that's huge. You know, if you get your ult off, you ult 2 or 3 people that are walking in to go check Baron, for example, and then Misfortune channels Hurl, y'all are probably going to win that fight, right? but they got the jump on you guys in a lot of fights, or you just opted into just a normal 5-on-5 where, you know, you can win those fights, but people can mess stuff up. You know, someone can go out of position and die. There's all sorts of bad things that can go on in normal fights. So in general, you want to try to take unfair fights whenever possible, right? You want to try to create, as a team, you want to create pressure in a side lane, force someone to go deal with that, and then engage on their other 4 people. Or you want to get, you know, vision of a bush in a key like area they have to walk through and get the jump on them. You want to try to force fights that are going to be foolproof to an extent, or at least less prone to being thrown by fools. Foolproof-ish. So I think that's something to keep track of. Try to just land more autos in fights too. There were a couple there where like you were kind of backing up and you're a little scared, like not landing autos, not throwing your cords. I'm thinking of that one specifically near Raptors. And I know it is spooky when everyone's around there, but if they just use like all of their cooldowns on the enemy and they're like on your ADC, just try to do as much damage as you possibly can. Even if you think the fight's lost, if you can safely just get in a little bit more, you know, try to do it, because someone else might come in and clean that up. You know, maybe Riven like comes in or somebody else comes in. So it is situational. Sometimes you need to just run. But I think, you know, if you can, just try to put out as much damage as you can. But anyways, okay, I think that's enough to work on. So just work on your vision game a little bit. The itemization, the summoners, easy fix. That's just a couple of clicks. Vision, pretty easy. Just get it down, you know? But then kind of more advanced, start working on positioning a little bit more, like not getting caught, being aware that they have like an invisible Twitch or a Leona with Moby boots that can run you down and engage on you. And then just trying to get out as many autos as you can in team fights. Especially as you start getting Athenes, that's really important because every auto, every power chord that you get off ends up healing your teammates even more because your damage converts into ally health, basically at a 30% clip. But anyways, that's going to be it. Thank you very much. Anyone else out there that like coaching, just email me at thestrategyprofessor@gmail.com. We can set that up. If you'd like to watch more coaching sessions, I will have a link in the description of this standalone VOD. We've got over 200, so if you just want to flip through some of your favorite champions, if you like Sona, there are other Sona ones. There's a lot, almost every support that's like mainstream. We've got a lot of videos for it, so go through there, check that out if you want to learn some new champs. It's always free to access the playlist. But yeah, that's going to be it. Have a good day. Thanks again to Oscar, and we'll see you next time.